G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Enno here from Fantasy Take TV. Going to be going over the round 7 review today. Bit of a positive week for myself after a very down last week, so moving back in the right direction. It was a bit of a comical week. A lot of high scores too, like a lot of good premiums went well. Got a couple of wins in draft, and shout out to Bex who tried to loop and stuffed it up, and so I beat him by 12 points. So shout out, mate. Sucked in. But yeah, 2360 in classic, and yeah, I think like 2 weeks ago was 1k just outside, and then obviously after bringing Took in and that whole debacle and captaining him, I lost a few ranks, but yeah, gaining some back now to sit at about 2.7. So still happy. Trades are decently healthy, maybe compared to most, and then I still have a couple of boosts left as well. 6 out of 10 league wins, so yeah, I'd say it's about average on par, but to be fair, a lot of the leagues that I'm in are doing very well this year. I think JD went over it, but I'm sure if you had a look yourself, we're sort of sitting with like the top 11 leagues right now. And then yeah, so this one's old Kaz who bowls pies down in Tassie. That's a lot of us as well. So yeah, and then I think it's something like 25 out of the top 50 maybe us, but yeah, literally we occupy like the entire top 10. So the last few weeks, when you sort of look at the round points ones, it's just chock full of all our leagues. So really big, oh my god, it keeps going. Really big, like I'd say 3 weeks to a month from our community after maybe a little bit of a slow start, correcting some things. Everyone's sort of got their team into an okay place, at least for scoring. But look, everyone's sort of in a similar boat where, like, I'm sure you look at anyone's bench, and it is dire. Like right now, I have, well, after old Matty Johnson, got we used to call him MJ, but now he's suspended for 2 weeks. And look, he actually looked alright, but yeah, now he's gone for 2. You know, Rowan's obviously not there, so I've generally got 1, maybe 2. 2 playing rookies, and then I guess we'll see if Alwyn Davey comes back. But it is dire for a lot of people. My trades were, I did Amanara a bit about it, but you know, I just wanted to forget about him by Friday, so I sat on it for a bit. I could have gone Stew, Cogs, a lot of different options. I opted for Will Day and Walsh. Now look, I'm happy with Will Day. I granted missed pretty much the entire Saturday slate of games. Was out and wasn't able to watch many. So look, they had 30 touches played. I think he had 60% CBA. So look, I'm happy with that. I think for 450, he's going to be a good enough D6 for the year, provided his body holds up. Walsh, a little bit not concerned, because look, he finds a pill wherever he plays, but he went from 80% centre bounce mid to 30 something or 40 this week. And look, Kennedy was the sub and came on the last quarter and took 10 CBAs. They won by 100 points. You know, bit of a training drill. Sammy, I think you look at his heat map, he was all over the ground. So, not totally concerned. It's a bit weird that like Hewitt and Cripps just generally had 90% C. I like Hewitt had like 94. Like he just generally played in the centre square the entire game. So look, I think it will change maybe week to week, but I would love to see Kennedy out of the side completely, and you know, or someone like Ed Kerno, but like they like him at half forward. So anyway, look, they've got a sort of too many. It worked for them, so hopefully they keep it that way, because you know, it worked for them. But I guess it's against the Eagles, you can't take too much. And then I got obviously Seamus Mitchell in, who unfortunately got subbed out. You know, so Took out. McKenna, look, it had to be done to get Walsh. Yes, I could have just done someone like a Cowan and got someone like a Cogs instead, and maybe that would have been a better move. McKenna dropped to 70. I would have avoided Mitchell's 40 with the sub. So, you know, maybe I would have gained a few points there. And then Wilmot as well. So look, if you kept the Brisbane boys, they had a way to. Well done. You know, I traded out Chandler 2 weeks ago just to try and get Took in, and look how that panned out. So look, maybe a little bit of a lesson of, look, there's been some unluck there, but maybe going some more value has worked better for people over the last couple of weeks. But we'll see. Like, I'm very happy with the team I've got and the premiums I've got. They just got to keep firing really for the price you pay. So I think I'm kind of down a premium basically due to Zeeble and Setterfield not being that guy that you're going to keep, and he absolutely will go this week. But that's sort of where I'm sitting behind maybe. So I'm copping I copped a Radigalia 40 this week, and while he's been good for me for a couple, that was probably around the corner, and then Mitchell as well. Whereas other teams might have only one or two of those bad rookies on field, where I've sort of got to get three. And hey, I got a decent score out of Samson this week in the end. Scored a 35-40 point last quarter, so can't complain there. But people are not even really fielding these guys, and it's avoiding the bad scores. So we'll start in defence with Dawson, who is I think literally like the top mid besides, but he's ahead of Clary now as far as points. But he was awesome. Not much needs to be said, really. It's just funny that I VC'd him last week, which forced me to see someone else for a 78 in between a 170, a 150, and another 150. So, just bad timing. Nick had his worst game of the year, and to be fair, he still had 27 and, battled through some injury concern, which I think he's fine. It just, maybe his Achilles sort of flared up a little bit and he was feeling it, but got a rub down, had a decent last quarter, and obviously Pi's got to cross the line again, so not worried about Nick. I think he'll be fine. This had a really good game, probably. I think it's his best of the year. Actually, it is. Yeah, he hasn't gone 120 yet until Saturday. I didn't catch the game. I saw his goal, but yeah, I think maybe just cut down on the clangers a bit this week early, and who knows? I didn't catch it, as I said, but I still think this will be okay for 100 to 105, somewhere in that range. So look, whilst I started him at 600, I'm lost a bit of value there. I think I'm still happy to have him. Will Day, as I said, was really tossing up this pick, not sure whether to go it or not, but 450 sort of just steered me that way, knowing that he'll probably come back and to be a top 3 mid there, and he looks quite good in the games he's played there. So just hopefully his body holds up, and 30 touches, you'd hope he'd have a bigger score, but I think he'll be good. She's bounced back, which is nice. So him, Zeeble, and Hall all turned up, I think. And to be fair, they lost by 100 points. So you'd expect something like that. But and there's quotes from Clarko saying that Shees will stay in defence for the foreseeable future. So that's nice to know. We can hopefully keep him to at least the buys, and then see what they do there at North. They might move him eventually, but at least we know he's going to be playing down there for the short to mid future. Seamus, as I said, took that score, had to I had no other option. I think I had a way of maybe rejigging the team if he went really poorly, but I just, as I said, wasn't really watching footy that day and just left it as is. Bont was decent, I guess, in his 200th. Didn't get a heap of the ball. I think he only had 19 touches, but, that's Bont. He can score with not as many touches as others, whereas you see Clary had, I think, 38 or something. Only got a 134. So we were hoping could get a bigger captaincy there, because I did VC English. So my captains haven't been great this year. I think my average is about 100, like flat 100, and others are rocking 130s, 140s. So I haven't been able to nail them this year. That's held me back a bit as well. So a bit unfortunate, but what can you do? Sammy Walsh we got in, of course. So scored his average. He's been pretty good. Finding the stack of the footy. Look, he had 30, 10 tackles, like 3 goal assists. I guess they just absolutely dominated the ball and possession, and won SuperCoach by like 1,000 points, Carlton. So too many of the guys scoring points probably hurt him from being able to go bigger than that. But we'll see how he goes the next few weeks. Tom Green, pretty decent again. Had like 130 dream team, could have gone bigger again, but he just finds a way to butcher it a bit. Hopper yesterday. Don't really want to talk about Richmond too much, but he struggled in the first half, spent a bit of time on the bench, but was really, really good in the second half, and he gave away 4 frees. So he's got West Coast next week. Not saying we're flying, but he should be able to go at least okay against them, you'd think. And I know his break-even's shot up to about 90, but when you own someone like Will Setterfield, who can get the hell out of my team, then we don't worry about Hopper. So Setters can go. Got sucked in a bit with he had 90% CBAs in that Gold Coast game, dominated, scored 140, and it just sort of sucked us in. I always thought he was an honest player and someone that deserved a shot at AFL level, and he's shown that. But I think it's been a bit hard for him to keep it up for 6 to 8 weeks. So yeah, a bit weird that they kept Merritt out of the midfield a bit. I think they should try and get him in there more and Setterfield maybe. Look, he's a bigger body, I guess. That's sort of his point of difference in there. But, yeah, anyway, who cares? He can go this week for sure. Warple, yeah, surprisingly going to be holding him a bit more. He's just been a consistent 90 scorer. Just, allergic to tunning besides that one against JWS, which was probably lucky, but he's just been consistent in scoring and around the 90s. And then obviously there was that stinker against North. But, yeah, he could stay. I mean, they got Freo this week, who's, a pretty decent matchup. And the Hawks mids actually haven't been too bad as a unit, so he can stay. What's his break even? Be someone low in the 50s, which is not too bad. Ashcroft, so happy we kept him. I did toy with doing him out instead of maybe a McKenna, and look, whilst McKenna went okay, I'm obviously glad I kept Ashcroft instead. Turned up, kicked goal of the year. Did see that game. That was awesome. Johnson's, as I said, suspended. Rowston just been sub and pretty useless. So, it doesn't really matter. And then Roberts, as we know, is injured. The English finally sub-ton, and I think that's ended the ton run for this year, him and Dacos. So, I think the Hawks restrict rucks quite a bit somehow. So, not sure what happened there. As I said, I didn't catch it, but still pretty positive on English outlook for the rest of the year, just knowing what he does. Still averaging 130 after a 90, so we're not too concerned about him. And then Rowan bounced back finally with a big game. Obviously a good matchup. A few people hit the vice captaincy. I know George and JD did. I missed that, so a bit unfortunate, but happy to see that, I had faith in Marshall. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say he's going 115, 120, but he can go 110 and get his average up. It's already back up to 107 after that game, so not concerned about him. He should be good for the rest of the year there. And then Timmy T, the F1 of Supercoach, the player 7 in all of Supercoach years, I think. 7th highest averaging player, scoring player, 117. He's over 600k now. I just don't know why there was anyone in the preseason, even amongst our Discord community, trying to doubt this pick somehow. Like, who cares? He's a bad kick of the football. He racks it up every single week. He's been our best player by far now this year, and still somehow he's going to copy in the media for being the problem. I actually just don't get it at all. So hats off to Timmy. I wish you'd had more support, mate, because I feel bad for you. I feel bad that you came across here and you're experiencing this in your first little stint. But hats off to you, mate. You've been awesome. So hopefully he can keep it up. I mean, 117 average, that's bloody awesome. Dunk's been, I guess, a bit underwhelming for what we paid for him, but still going to be a top 2 or 3 forward, and that's what you want. Rosie the same. I guess he's been a bit better the last couple of weeks, so can't complain about him. Errol had a big bounce back, which was nice, even though he didn't play much midfield at all. But he just is always clean and classy. And then obviously Rat was coming, probably lucky to even scrape out of 43 here. Just didn't play well at all. Essendon ball movement is actually decent. They don't bomb it like a few other teams that have in the past few weeks to be able to intercept. I think Stu took way more of the intercepts. Radically was playing a bit more lockdown this week, so he was all right. Samson, if Dimmer's going to learn to play this kid more in the ruck, piss Miller off out of the side, then the quicker that happens, the better he can make a lot more money for us if that happens. So against West Coast this week, who we know they just got BJ and not much else. If he can drop Miller, I'd be so happy, and just play, or even Soldo, rest him. He only played 60% game time. I just don't get the setup. I know we want maybe an extra forward because we're just so depleted there, but Samson's got to play ruck, man. He does so well there. I know he can do well forward. He needs a better split. He can't just be full forward. I think it gets him into the game, and that last quarter was really good from him. And then Fergus, just a bit disappointing. I think George said he ran to the post or something and didn't score many points after that. So that's unfortunate. I think he's probably making his way for my team this week, but he's been a great rookie. So we cannot complain at all with the Ferg. And hopefully Owen comes back. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Played Anzac Day, then maybe just managed again off a 5-day break or whatever it was. So we will see there. So this week, I mean, pretty clear that I'll just fix the team up. Chincotta's got to come in. I mean, that's the non-negotiable, and Setterfield for me has to go out. So we'll just do that as the first sort of trade. If I mean, is there anyone that hasn't had problem with the SuperCoach website this year? Chincotta straight in. So we'll just complete that. 330k. So there's a bit you can do with this. I don't think I'll be boosting this week. I don't see really any other rookies on the horizon. I know a few people spoke about Sam Simpson maybe, but he's 160k, playing like a small half forward role for Geelong. And look, whilst they're winning and going well at the moment, maybe that, he can score okay there. But, has kicked a couple of goals both weeks and gone 80 and 50 or something. So not totally keen on that. And I don't want another dead rookie, especially for 160k. That'd just be killer. But I also get the argument there isn't much else going on. I think like Angwin's the only other one this week, and he's not doing much on a wing. And then you look forward to next week, and there was no debutants worth talking about that look like they're going to be options next week. So it's getting pretty slim. So I can see that if you want to go double down and one up or something and grab Simpson, then if you like him, fair play. But I just don't see it. So yeah, one up, one down this week. I'll save my 2 boosts, and I've got a bit of options. So someone like a Cowan, I could go up. Unfortunately, I'm just short of like a Sinclair, which is a bit annoying. He's 540, can't quite afford that. Would love to get rid of Cowan, and because he doesn't look like coming back anytime soon. But I think Ferg makes the most sense, and I've kind of got a bit of money to spend. And then I guess the argument again is, do I go bang on someone 600k, or do I go someone like a Cogs that I didn't get last week, bank 90k and have that towards my next upgrade? Just looking at my forwards, I've sort of got 4 there, and then I've still have a spot, so that's a possibility. What else we got? Forwards wise, Zeeble, I'm not really going to get him in now at 490k, and I think he's going for scans this week. I didn't catch that game, but apparently he was off for a bit with something, so I'm sure the boys will tell me on the podcast. Butters is there. Look, I'm okay fielding Samson. Look, it'd be nice to maybe get Radaglia off the field for one more week, because something could happen there. What I'm really thinking is, where is he? Christian Petrarca, who obviously dropped a massive 167. I know JD got him in. Locke, another one of our Discord members who's in the top 30 now, and he absolutely dominated. Playing a bit of half forward now. He's just short of the DPP in round 5 through round 6. I think it was like 34.7% or something, which was sort of took us by surprise, because he was getting like 60-70% CBA. So obviously he's doing a lot of that midfield impact, centre bounce, and then going forward, and then playing off half forward, which you can get dual position off if you do that enough. And then even on the weekend, he was only 40% CBA. So I'd imagine his forward time was up around 50%, maybe more. He's definitely over the threshold now. We've got round 8, 9, 10, and 11. So we've actually still got 4 games to go until it will come in round 12. So going him now, and then let's say against, I think they've got a couple of easy matchups in the next 2. And then it maybe gets some better teams after that. Not particularly. Port's probably the hardest one there. So Gold Coast, Hawthorn, Fremantle. Looks really nice to me. It doesn't probably matter where he plays for those. And then if he gets DPP, that is an absolute bonus. Now, the reason I'm sort of saying go him now is due to the fact that he just dropped the 167. His break even is now 70. By the time the DPP rolls around, and with those nice matchups, he could be 650, 660k and then gets DPP and becomes an absolute must-have for people. And I don't want to have a must-have that's 660k at that point in time, not knowing how my cash situation is going to be then, and knowing that you'll have to just force him in. So I'm thinking do it now. He's 599. It's probably as cheap as he's going to be for 2 or 3 weeks. Get him now. Obviously, it hurts to miss the 167. That's gone. That's not really the reasoning. I'm not chasing points. It's more, he looks good. He's only gone under 100, I think, his first couple of games in the 90s. And then since then, he's sort of, just turning up, and then went bang against North. So, look, if he scores 120, he's going to be 650k. And then, if his forward time's up, he seems to play more forward against the lesser teams, right? Not stat padding, but forward of the ball, he can dominate in those games where Melbourne are just well on top. And then maybe against Port, he plays a bit more pure midfield. And then against Freo, maybe back at the G, he's a bit more forward. And I think he's going to get DPP just because it really caught us by surprise in the first installment when he was literally less than 1% off. So I think I'll go him. His body looks fine, he looks fit, all that sort of jazz. Yes, he can butcher it at times, but I think track, even if he was not to get it, I think he'd be a fine enough sort of M8, M7, M8 operator. So that's my thinking. My other thing, I was going to get Tom Stewart in, who, you know, hurts me not owning him as a big lover of him, but he's pretty expensive now for a defender, whereas I see, you know, track's going up and up, and then as I said, if he gets that DPP, he's going to be an absolute must-have. So that's my thinking. Problem is 15k in the bank, not many rookies on the horizon. Like next week, I might have to boost to upgrade, but who the hell are the 2 rookies I'm getting in to downgrade to? It might be a week where you sort of sit. So something to think about for sure. And we'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Look, let me know what you think. VC and C this week, I haven't really put much thought into. Wouldn't mind Clary against Gold Coast. Wouldn't mind. Where's English got? Old Giants at Monica. You know, could do just reverse it this week and do something like that. Maybe VC Timmy Torano against West Coast. He's been, you know, on fire. West Coast give up some scores, so maybe that. But yeah, we'll discuss it on the pod, and I'll think about that more later in a week. But thanks for watching. Let me know how you went. I think now I can loop. What I was meant to do is during my trades, I'll get Seamus down here and I'll loop Seamus and Radaglia. That was just the last thing I didn't do, and I'll just straight field Chincotta. I'm happy doing that. He's been really, really good, averaging the 77. So yeah, I'll do that, but I can set that up later. Yeah, so thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the podcast, and cheers. Got the mojo deal, we been tripping like the 80s. Pulling out the coupe at the light.